Alrighty, let's see this here. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. We have yet another CAD model today to do. Who would have thunk it, right? Yeah, I think today I'm gonna do a mechanism of some kind. Just to keep things rolling with that. People really love the mechanisms. And, yeah, I think it'll be pretty good, but of course let's check our Discord just to see what's going on in that neck of the woods. And, of course, if you're not part of the Discord already, and you want to be part of the community, all you need is a free Discord account, and just click that link that I just posted in the chat there. That'll bring you straight over there. And if this is your first time watching, and, want to see more CAD stuff, consider subscribing, and I think that'll be very cool. Hey, Madelchi, what's going on? Good to have you here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this. So let's see what was going on in the general chat. Oh yeah, so something that I did, Andy from Made from Making made this really awesome post, based on, we were having the conversation of, what are the next steps after failing a certified SolidWorks expert or some other certified exam, or really anything else, just like his thoughts on failure. I really recommend you, if you got a second, give it a good read. I actually pinned it to the channel because I thought it was that good. You just gotta be open to learning and learning from your mistakes, and then you'll get where you need to go, be it design or really anything else. All right, something I want to help with Joao here. Says, does anyone happen to have a GoPro case and a caliper? Yeah, that can be kind of tricky sometimes, where sometimes you want to do use your 3D printer to print out a peripheral for a device you have, but you need like measurements and stuff like that, and accurate measurements can be hard to get, and I understand why you wouldn't want to buy a case if you just wanted to pull measurements from Madelchi being helpful. He has calipers but no GoPro, so we just need so if you do have a GoPro case and a caliper, let's put you together with Joao over here, and hopefully we'll he can get the measurements he's looking for. Hey, what's going on, Garlic? Good to see you here. And yeah, looks like people were using the voice channels to talk to each other. So again, another benefit of joining the channel, if you're a more talkative person, after being so far apart from other humans for due to the pandemic, if you want to talk to people, we have voice chat rooms that you can show off your designs, ask questions, and so it's all good. So Voninator here says, hey, I'm interested in buying an Ender 3 3D printer. I was wondering how much power does it consume. Usually that stuff is published, but let's see if we can't look it up here real quick, because I know what to look for. Mendelchi saying maybe we can find a 3D model of the GoPro, like GrabCAD. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Although with the GrabCAD models, you gotta take it with a grain of salt, because you can't really be certain of the quality. Although if you're gonna 3D print it, and you're printing with something cheap like PLA, it's just like can be like 50 cents or $1 worth of material. I would just go for it and see if it fits, versus like if you're gonna like order from Shapeways or use the Mark Forge, which is a much fancier material, might be up to like $10, $15, or even $20 per print. I would ask that you run like a verification step of some kind, just to make sure that the models you pull from the internet are what they are. Hey Sebastian, good to see you here. Let's see. I've actually heard good things about this printer. I wonder if it will. So, parameter. Input. Output. So 360 watts. That's its power consumption. That makes it that makes sense. So for example, I have the Mark Forged. Mark Forged Onyx Pro. Let's see if it'll display, but it's somewhere around there too. It's like 3, 4, maybe 500 watts while being used. Who's buying a 3D printer? Voninator over here. He was looking at the Ender 3 and he was just wondering how much power it consumes. Oh, Alessio, you got a Ender 3. That's good to know. So, you know, I think at least I can respond to this dude over here. But just if you see this guy, if you ask more questions, you know, if we could help him out, you know, make an informed decision. I think that'll be very, very helpful. Oh, that's annoying. Power consumption. Yeah, I know. Oh wow, that was more. It's more now than. Definitely, that's more than I paid for it. Thankfully. You know, I'm not going to go too deep in this rabbit hole, but, you know, typically 3D printers use around or less than 500 watts while in use, and we'll use some even if it's not. You know, for example, the Mark Forge has this little light that is on. 360 watts at peak, 180 is more likely. That's good to know. Yeah, because the other question is, like, you know, is it peak or is like what is it doing typically? So I guess that's like probably at its fastest movement settings, you know, maximum extrusion, you know, putting down as much plastic as it possibly can. And if it has a heated bed, I'm not sure if it does, but if it does, it probably like that cranked up to max. You know, that'll give you a max, but you know, then you'd have more typical settings. So that's thank you for pointing that out. Maybe we got Kuronite in there, the little emoji. Very nice, very nice. So yeah, just wanted to show that off. So let's see, share your work. Yeah, this was what Yaya was doing when I was modeling the world bottle from last time. I think it came out really good. Yeah, and we did look at Risky Bisky stuff, you know, him modeling some of the stuff on the PDF. 50 Solidworks exercises, you know, doing a great job there. But also Yaya celebrating that Dassault Systems themselves actually commented on his post. That is, wow, you're getting a lot of attention, dude. That's awesome. That is showing off all of his animations. You know, well deserved. Very, very good, dude. Yeah, that's absolutely excellent. So yeah, if you see Yaya on LinkedIn, be sure to, you know, like his little thing there. So put a love, and yeah, we'll get him more traction. You know, he definitely deserves it. Virus rendered in. This looks like photo view, though. If Joao, if you're in the chat, you might be able to answer that more definitively. But yeah, a lot of good stuff over here. Now let's take a look at this. Help, my SolidWorks is having a bad day. Oh no. Bruh. My SolidWorks ribbon broke. If you have and Yaya already with some good advice, some good advice here. If you have a copy of your settings, start by restoring your settings. Or if you don't have a copy, try closing SolidWorks and reopening it. Or even restarting your device. If it still persists, you'll have to add the buttons manually. Actually, I do have one more solution that is like not as nuclear as just having to put it all back yourself, but here, I'll show you what I would use. And perhaps I can demonstrate like what that would do. So let's bring, because I don't mind resetting my settings. So I guess I could do this as like a tutorial. So you could see that, you know, my SolidWorks settings are have a little bit of customization. I would say it's like 95% stock. Like all the buttons are in the place that you would expect, and then I have a bit extra here. So I put indent in there, move face, combine. Indent is in there twice. I might have demonstrated it at another time here. But if for some reason like something goofed up, you know, first step, saving your settings, great idea. Well, you do that, go to the gear, the little arrow next to it, and say save restore settings, save settings, next. Yeah, pick a file path. So it's saved in my documents folder. It's called SW settings. I would recommend renaming that, but I kind of double clicked the finish there, and then you can actually choose what you want to save out. But you know, that's kind of what I want to do here. So to reset, of course, make sure everything is saved. Close all. Okay, we're gonna get out of SolidWorks, and I just did that by doing Alt F4. I just straight up Alt F4'd. And now what we want to get is regedit. So let's see if I remember how to do this. Regedit. Can I collapse all of these? That would be dope. Hey, it's Danielle. What's going on? Did your talk go well? Yeah, Danielle was was having yet another talk. You know, if you could believe it. You know, everyone wants you know, Danielle to speak at their event because like she has such great messages and talks about all the right things. So let me go to H key. Believe it's local machine. Here, let me check, because it's one of those things that I'll definitely know it when I see it. Down to SolidWorks. Yeah, here you go. And these are the settings for SolidWorks 2020 and 2021. I actually have both versions installed. Talk was great. Got to work with so many cool kids. Hey, that's that's pretty good. You know, that sounds like a great day. I'm glad it went really well. Alright, so, and actually let me expand this. Yeah, so if you have all this stuff, this is the right directory. So, review. Here, I'll do a review, because hopefully I kind of want to clip this and have this as a standalone video. So, again, to reset your SolidWorks settings, regedit, go to H key local machine, software, SolidWorks, and to reset, this process is reversible if you follow my directions here. You're not going to delete this. What you're going to do is rename. So you right click, rename, and I'll do something like 2020 SolidWorks _old. You just rename that. And then what should happen when I relaunch SolidWorks here, so my custom splash is sort of gone. But if I go to a part, let's see if that worked here. Nope, that didn't quite work. It reset some of it. Yeah, I might have to look into this, because I used to do this all the time when I was yeah, I used to do this all the time when I was in tech support. Or maybe it's this one. Let me see. What's in here? Alright. Second time's the charm. And it's this is, like I said, this is reversible. You just rename it back to its old thing. Or, okay, so let me try that. So if this works out. Okay, so if you get the license user agreement, that means it worked. Yeah, that's fine. And then everything is basically reset. I'll probably put it back. So, although it is a bit strange that my command manager hasn't appeared. Enable command manager. But yeah, once you do that, you see that, you know, none of my custom buttons are there anymore. So, virus might want to try that. So, to review, what the? Or actually, you know what? I might have to do a bit more research. That is really goofy. I don't know why it's doing that, but, you know, let's close. Let's put everything back the way it was. Oh no, let's refresh. Refresh. Okay, so there's this. I'm gonna call it new. And then rename this old one. I was hoping to get a quick impromptu lesson here. So that renamed just fine. So if I launch Solidworks, so now it's back to normal. All right, yeah, sorry about the wait there. I'm gonna have to do a bit more research, but you know that is something you could you know potentially try. I mean, of course, you could go through like the classic uninstall and reinstall SolidWorks, but that could take more than an hour. You know, so you know doing it through the registry is pretty quick. But I'm out of practice. That's why it's important to practice your skills. You know, I haven't reset a registry in like 2 years. But yeah. Yeah, let's go here. Can't move split body. And Modelchi with, you know, a correct answer here. It needs a second element as mate. I guess it depends on what you want to try and do here, Virus. But in order to move a body, so for example, let's get this and go to remove copy body command. So you have it on the constraints mode, so that's why I see all the mates there. So you would pick your body, and then you just have like one face selected. Let me select more stuff. Alright, so you would select a face and then you put like a distance. That's what you have right now, but nothing happens. But it is, as Modelchi says, one way, you know, go with what he says. You know, you pick another face as reference, and you'll notice what it does. You know, that 8 inches, it will put between that face that I selected and the one up here. If in the other case that you just want to move it just straight from where it is, what you have to do instead is scroll down and just hit that translate rotate. And then here you get the delta Y or delta X or whatever. You type in what you want and it just moves it without having to select that second face. So Danielle saying Yo-Yo watching your stream. So for those of you who don't know, Yo-Yo is Danielle's cat, hence the little cat in the box. Is Yo-Yo in an actual box? Now that's the question here. So yeah, that I know because I use move copy bodies all the time. As you could see, I actually just used it yesterday. You know, because I modeled the models like that, but I didn't want to take a screenshot like that. I wanted to like see it more natural. So then I did a move to bring it forward a little bit, and then another to set rotation. Pretty interesting fun fact. Whenever you have a move copy bodies, you can only either translate or rotate. You can't do both at the same time, which I think is very interesting. My 3-foot tall cat. I really enjoy that. I get crazy with move copy bodies. I'm glad I'm not the only one here. I feel that I overuse it a little bit, but you know, if it works, it works. It's a very nice, robust tool. And especially when you're importing geometry, if just things aren't lining up as they should be, you know, you can straighten it out a little bit. But yeah, you know, it's very funny that Danielle mentions the tall cat. because of course we rescued some puppies last year, and they're growing. They're big now. We have 3 dogs. We have the 2 that we rescued, and then we had Stella, the English Springer Spaniel that we have. Um, but it's funny because like the rescue dogs are shorter than Stella, but they're longer than Stella. Like they're like like an accordion, dude. That was last year. Yeah, that was November. So not like way back last year, but 6 months, give or take. That was a long time ago, dude. They're big. They're big doggies. Let's see, and that's mostly what's being in there. Accordion doggos. They're so precious though. All right, so we saw this already, and we saw this, and I know made for making best practices for reverse engineering. Yeah, I kind of want to write like an exercise, like booklet or something. May is so soon. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's crazy that you mentioned that April's almost over because like, with one of my friends, Melectrica, she's really into music, and so I wanted to watch a show called Your Lie in April. It's anime about like, basically a kid loses his spark in music and gets it back throughout the course of the show. That's as much as I'll go into it. But she was saying like, oh, we should watch it. We should watch Your Lie in April because it's April right now. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And then I realized we haven't started and April's almost over. So I goofed up there. I really did goof up. Unless you're saying, don't you like the S key? Oh, I love the S key, except I don't use it very much recently, do I? I think definitely my older videos, I use it a lot. Of course, y'all are watching a music anime. Yeah, hey, it's one of the best like shows you could ever watch. Not even just anime, but just shows in general. Is bingeable though. Yeah. Once you hit a certain episode number, that's what I warned her. I already watched it, and boy howdy, is it rough on your emotions if you're not prepared. That I won't spoil it, but it is pretty brutal. But you get to a point and you're just like, I gotta watch the next one. For me, Steins Gate is also the same way. Like I always joke around like with Steins Gate, it's like sci-fi time travel, anime, very cool. Once you hit episode 12, you're not. There's no going back. Is what I used to say about that. So yeah, very bingeable. I should give people anime recs. I probably could. I mean, I have. I haven't watched so much recently. I used to, like, towards last year and the year before, I was actually watching different shows constantly. But yeah, I need to start watching some stuff again. All right. So what are we doing today? Yeah, no longer. It's like, yeah. So I wouldn't say like I myself am like Arima. So Arima being the main character who plays piano, kind of loses his way, stops playing piano. But yeah, being in music sometimes can be a very stressful endeavor. Like, when you do it for purely a hobby, it's like one of the most enjoyable things you could possibly do. But when you do it for basically anyone else except you play in a band, play in an orchestra, play for judges, it's a whole different ball game at that point, and it's very stressful. A lot of people go crazy. It can be very bad, and especially me that I studied music as like, part of my major. It's like it got to a point where it's like, playing guitar was no longer fun. It was no longer enjoyable. And I just did it like it was my job. Like I was just, all right, just okay, go to my my lesson, read some music, or or you know, the thing is like, back when I was in Case Western, I was basically the only one of the only guitarists in the music program. So that means if any musical production needs a guitar, either like acoustic or electric, I was almost immediately recommended. And a lot of fun stuff came out of it. So, for example, there is this Broadway show called Avenue Q, and if you haven't heard of that, one of the funniest things I've ever experienced. It's literally like a parody of like Sesame Street, so it's like puppets and stuff. But you know, it's like a musical about real life and getting a job and like, you know, adjusting after coming out of school and among other things. And I played pit guitar for that, which was crazy, by the way. Avenue Q was great. Yeah, I think, yeah, you probably saw it. Like, if so, you know, Kuro Night was, you went to college with me. We were the same year, so that was when I was freshman year, by the way. So if you saw Avenue Q your freshman year, Kuro Night, you probably heard me play guitar in the pit crew. Or banjo. You know, it's just kind of the master of all stringed instruments. So I had like my electric guitar on my right side, my acoustic on my left, and in front of me, you know, they let me borrow a banjo tar, which is like a banjo body but with like a guitar fretting, so I could actually play it because, you know, banjo's very weird. How to know it? Well, there you go. Yeah, so you heard like the tune with the banjo. That was me. That was me, dog. But yeah, no, it's like some of the timings is so crazy, dude. It was like, you know, I would have to like, you know, play the banjo part, and then there was like had to switch to electric guitar, so it's like, all right, here's 4 beats of rest, so I have to put it down, get my electric guitar, you know, flip it on, or, you know, disengage the kill switch, as I like to say, and you know, begin playing electric guitar. And it's very difficult. That was probably one of the highlights of my young music career, though. Yeah, I have to tell you, though, like, I, you know, sat through many rehearsals of that show, and then, you know, I played like 4 shows. Like, they ran it 4 times or 3 times or something like that. I laughed every single time at certain jokes. Every single run, I laughed. And I have no problem admitting that. Show's really well written. If you ever, if any of you have a chance to, to catch Avenue Q, here, I won't like show any of the music, unfortunately, because that'll probably get my stream copyright strike. But Avenue Q. Let's go to avenueq.com. Why not? But yeah, as you could see, you know, they're like Muppet-like characters in just real-world gritty scenarios. Very funny. So I played for that, so that was pretty good. Also played in a rock orchestra where, you know, we covered Viva La Vida. So I did that on my acoustic guitar. Was it also in jazz band, which that was just hard. You know, the change is very difficult. So yeah, I mean, I was just the guitarist. You know, sometimes it was fun, and other times it was brutally stressful. So yeah, you know, that whole tangent is to say, it's like I kind of was like Arima in a way where I kind of like lost my way, and actually after I graduated, I didn't touch my guitar for probably about 2 years. I just didn't play music at all. But now I'm beginning to play again. I'm beginning to arrange music on the side. And it's, what can I say? It's been better. But yeah. Your Lie in April, good show. I definitely recommend. 8 out of 8. It's really great. Yeah, competitions are rough, says Kurona. Especially you're known to do well and get shit on if you don't win. But really though, like, even if you're not, like, I remember one thing that I did was I entered a concerto competition, and for those of you who don't know what a concerto is. It's when, you know, you as the main instrument is kind of playing a melody, but then you have an entire orchestra behind you kind of following what you're doing. It's freaking awesome. And, you know, I entered a concerto competition, and, you know, that was one of the most stressful months of my life. And, you know, my submission was actually just, you know, me being recorded with a piano accompanist. But, yeah, I could tell you stories about this all day, but, you know, I'll end it here. And, you know, we'll get on with the model. But, yeah, thanks for listening to my ramblings. Danielle saying, "Ha, meanwhile, my piano teacher didn't know notes." Yeah, that's kind of rough. You guys want to know how to type a note? If you know alt codes, you know, if you do Alt 13, that's a single note, or Alt 14 is a double note. So that's so I know those notes at least. Well, yeah. Oops, I goofed up here. I unplugged something. Bear with me. Alright, I hit the EMP. The EMP. So sorry about that. Are we online? I think we're good. Yeah, I did something really goofy. I unplugged my UPS. Which unplugged some of my monitors. I kicked it with my foot. So I'll try not to do that. I see you, Jeremy Grisky, with the following up with a note. Note. A singleton note. Alright, what do we got? I was thinking of doing a mechanical movement. I think we'll keep it simple today, but you know, I think what I need for my page, you know, I'm trying to get people followed and engage with my content. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to model really weird mechanisms so that people start fights about it in the comments. Because when you do that, at least Instagram algorithm really likes comment fights, which is why, like, you know, if someone's arguing like that thing should work and like, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. No, it doesn't. I usually let those things kind of go, you know, and, you know, just kind of like from my standpoint, like I don't like to moderate anybody that much, but of course there's limits. You know, if someone's being, you know, outwardly offensive, you know, I'll take action and remove a comment or something like that. I've only had to do that like twice, honestly, but please don't make it more. But yeah, usually when it comes to discussion, I usually let that go, and even if it's just like people outwardly criticizing me, like I don't really mind at the end of the day. It's like you have an opinion, that's fine. Everyone has opinions, but some are better than others, and we'll say that. But anyway, that is to say, like, so this thing is a piston that rotates about this point here as this crank goes, so it kind of rocks back and forth. And I know people are probably gonna throw a fit when I model this and animate it, saying stuff like, how do you get the gas juice inside of it when this is like in the context of a steam engine? And you know, it's a bit different. So I think this will be pretty good. But yeah, let's get started. So let's save that, and I can probably, yeah, I could probably use that as a sketch picture. Yeah, why not? Hello. Yeah, let me try and rename this folder here. Movement 344. Okay, that seems to have worked. Yeah, let's put this, well, I usually name these two. Alright. So we got that going on. Pretty good. Can get rid of these if we want. Yeah, let's get rid of this. Yeah, sometimes, if this looks familiar to you, this, you might have been on Reddit. You know, this was in the Specialized Tools subreddit, and I thought it looked pretty cool. And it also looked like a quick model, too, which is like, You know, you got to balance out, you know, having like the real bangers and versus like, you know, more simple models, just so that, if you want to do like daily CADs like this, just got to balance out the amount of effort, you know. So let's get on the front plane. Let's grab that sketch picture. Oh yeah, that's Danielle there in her magazine cover. It's when I modeled the Breebot. That's a little robot dude her sister made. It's fabulous. Let's put this here. Put that as the origin. I think that'll be pretty good. And then I need like an overall dimension. Gee, I don't know. Let's maybe make the diameter of the cylinder a number. Maybe like 3 inches. And then move this. This is going to be interesting. I actually kind of want to draw. Let me rotate this such that this is straight. Get out of there. And I imagine there's going to be a piston inside of here. Yeah, I might actually not do this as a multi-body part, but we'll start with this. Yeah, so it looks like I wasn't too far off, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of like trace. Here, let me check something here. Yeah, let me make sure my mic's working. Check, 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 check. Check. My mic's working. Check, 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 check. Check. My mic's working. Check, check, check. The echo. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay. Let's try that. I'll do, one like in oh, I did all of that and I really did. I goofed it already. Alright, let's grab all of these and turn these back into regular geometry. There we go. I did basically all of that as centerline. So let's work on this. So let's say that these are collinear and that they're equal in length. For this does seem to be a smaller diameter, so I'll leave it just like that. Yeah, so let's give this like an overall height, and it looks like it's tending to like 1 inch, which I think is pretty good. Uh-oh, we're getting our wires crossed here. Let's bring that back up. And this looks like 1875. And to keep things from shifting around that much, there we go. We should be able to specify a diameter. 1875. Looking good. So this can stretch up like that. .5. .75. It looks like the other cylinder just has a flat bottom. Yeah, maybe I'll just make this equal with this. Equal. And then all that's left, it's kind of hard to see, I do apologize. that's looking pretty good. And then let's grab, hello, this, that. Yeah, this I need to extend. And trim. So far so good. I think I hear the dog the dog scratching at the door. That might be Jackie or Canepa. Hang on, let me go check on them. I'll be right back. 1 sec. Can get check. Dude, her sister bit, and I thought, I have an opinion. That's fine. I usually let those things kind of go. You know, saying, meanwhile, my piano teacher didn't know notes. Yeah, that's kind of rough. You guys want to know how to type a note? Alright, I hit the note. Because when you do that, inside of it, when this is like in the yeah, let me try and rename this folder. Alright. You know, more simple models, just so that, you know, maybe like 3 inches, and then move tension. The echo. Okay, I think we're good. Here, let me, so that, you know, cover. This one I good. And then I need like an overall dimension. Gee, I don't know. Alright, mic check. Alright. Okay, so I think I fixed it. So, funny thing about the mouse that I'm using right now, the middle click is like a little bit sensitive, so when you press it once, you'll press it like multiple times. So I think what happened was when I was sharing the link, I middle clicked it to open like an instance of it, you know, just so I can like monitor the stream. But I actually opened up several windows because you know, kind of like rapid fire clicked, so I closed most of those down, I think. But yeah, I think we're good now. Checked on Jackie, she's fine. Yeah, we talked about your mouse this week. That's true. Mouse is important. Yeah, I really should be using the one. I mean, the interesting thing about my setup, like if you look here, I have 2 computers. There's this black one here, and there's this white one, which is the streaming computer, and what it, you know, my regular use computer, I guess you could say. You know, one is for my work, you know, where I basically keep all the data for my full-time job there, and that just sits there. And then, the white one is this, what I'm doing right now. So it's like I don't cross the wires and, you know, accidentally show something on stream that I'm not supposed to. You know, it gives me like extra peace of mind that I can stream like this. So that's why I have like a bunch of monitors. And why I like the particular monitor and why I mentioned it. But yeah, this is plugged into my work computer. Oh, man. Yeah, though this one has been a little bit glitchy too. We'll see. Yeah, I wonder if I can... Yeah, I'm like looking at... Yeah, you can actually see the middle mouse like flicker a little bit. You know, with the little display on the top left. Like, I'm just kind of like pressing it like one at a time. I mean, it's like normal most of the time, but, you know, once out of every 10, it'll buffer like 10 additional, 10 additional clicks. Man, I haven't made a lot of progress with this. I need to focus. Okay. Revolve. Yeah, so I guess I lied. I am doing a multi-body part. Okay. And then I think I could just, for the end plate, just do this. So, I think with one fell swoop, let's do this. Section. Let's get this, the picture out of there. So we're gonna do a revolve cut, you know, through all bodies. So let's configure this. Show. Yeah, now we're chugging away. Oop. Oof. So the radius of this. So now I can get a revolve cut. Pick that as our axis. Yeah, and we want all bodies, actually. So there we go. We get a cavity. And actually what I need to do, so let's save cylinder. Let me go back one because I need to make it an axis basically. Sure, let's do that. And then when we cut, now this, we can have this, but not have it affect, because if you reorder, then you get this goofy stuff in the middle. Yep, order of features matters, as you may imagine. Oh, actually, I didn't know that made for making went in with a boo. Yeah, I was so distracted with like trying to fix the thing. A bit of material. Ah, boo. I want to add this. There we go. And I think we could start putting the assembly together. So going for like a bottom-up assembly. modeling technique. Hello. That needs to hide. So we got an axis. I'll rename to CL for centerline. Let's float. So this with that, concentric, spinny, spinny, spin. And then we just lock that in plane, and yeah, that's one thing. Movement 344 ASM. Let's do that. So let me take a quick measurement here. 3875, and let's get to doing the next thing. So this is going to be the piston, and keep it simple. 375, excuse me, over 2 because I need it as a radius. How long? Let's try 6, and we'll adjust. And actually, oops, don't recall the inner diameter of this, which is the the downside to bottom-up assembly modeling, is you don't get you have to manually get your measurements here. Let me make sure I got the right inches. Yeah, okay, so I was wondering if that came out to some weird number. Click, and we can paste. And we could just set this to whatever we want. Revolve about this. There we go, we got a piston now. Piston, there we go. By the way, guys, I still haven't had a chance to put my my 3D part to print. The one with the oops. Let's leave it like that. The one with the picture. I haven't put that to print yet. All right. So something I might do here. I'd like to take a degree of freedom away from this. Okay. And let's actually do this and rename this to delete me. Yeah, just so I can have the cylinder not spinning in place. Just for really like for position only, but I want to like control it turning on and off. All right, what's next? What's next on the list? So we have the piston. So it's really the crank. So I need like an end to this. So let me go open this up. Hello. That's interesting. Put that back. And go to this. There we go. And now how do we want to do this? Let's grab the right plane and try something like this. I know this is a bit weird, but I'm gonna revolve this and basically make like a donut shape. So I need the midpoint and this to be on top of each other, and that maybe 0.5, and then this another 0.5, and then I need like a center line in which this is infinite in length, and this will control how long the overall rotation point is, how long at least. And then from this, okay, that's going to cause some problems. It's going to be 0 thickness, so let me fix. That's interesting. How do I want to fix this? I could have this overbuild. Yeah, the thing is what I'll do. I'll overbuild, so 7, like that. And then this, I'll say that this equals, I can find the key. This equals this. And then I can revolve basically that. Might be too big. We can adjust that. 0.25, and then say, oh yeah, that's radius, huh? So let me cut that in half. There we go. That's a bit more reasonable. And for this overbuild, just do a delete face. So I can click the top and say all surrounding, delete and patch, and it's like it's never even happened. Alright, so that's pretty good. Oop, it came out the bottom a little bit. Also, a pretty neat thing you can do. So if you want to, as a mate, prevent this from like passing through each other, but you don't want to do it through solid body contact, you can actually do it through mate. So what you would do is go to mate, advanced, width. So you want a width mate. And this is important. For the width selections, you need to select the wide portions. And for the tabs, you just select the narrow portions. So normally what that does, width places that right in the middle. But you may notice that for constraint, it says centered. If you put free, like this, then what that does is it will actually say that, okay, this piston can be anywhere within the width selections. And that's why it's important for you to select the right set of faces, because if I, for example, if I suppress this and try it again but do it backwards, I'll show you what happens. So advanced, width. So if you get this backwards, so instead of width being wide, you know, the width will be this, and the tab will be that, which is, like I said, wrong, by the way. So yeah, it'll appear to work, right? It's centered, but if you go to center, that's the only option there. So that's, you know, what's going on. If you want to change the constraint for width and you only get one option, switch your tab and your width, and that should fix it. But remember, width equals wide. You know, so you just pick the wide set of faces there. I've been using wood for so long and never noticed the constraint, says Brown Mink. Yeah, no, it's very, you know, it's one of the funniest things that I like to show off during the Solidworks Essentials class when I taught for a reseller. Which, by the way, you get a lot of people. The Essentials class is like the first course in the series of other courses. So you get a lot of people. It's like, grr, I used SolidWorks for 8 years and you're wasting my time with this. And, you know, then I would show them something like that. And they're like, wow, I, you know, really never noticed that. Or, you know, if they continue to be stubborn, they'll do that. But, you know, that's one of those things. It's like, you know, usually turns those opinions around. But yeah, if you only get the one, you put the wrong things in the wrong box. But yeah. So there you go. Width. Alright, what's next? What's next? I need a crank, don't I? Let me see how the crank looks like. I might just be able to... So it's got this boss here. Okay, so, you know, I just kind of like memorized how that looks. So I'm just going to do this and say, yeah, I need a slot that tapers. So I'm just going to manually sketch it using my line tool. Put that in there. And this length we're going to have to play around with, fam, but, you know, we'll do it. Let's try 4 for right now. Radius of 1. Ooh, that got really small. Radius of 0.5. Okay. Yeah, let's just leave it like that. Mid-plane. And let's get it 1/4 of an inch. And let's get a convert entities and oops, just bring it around town for the circle. Extrude. Good plane again, and this time 0.5. So that is that like little boss there. And let's just get it finished off. Yeah, now that, you know, someone pointed out to me, I think it was Alessio, that I don't use the S key. You know, now I'm pretty acutely aware of it now, and I should use it more. There's literally no reason not to use the S key, which brings this up. But I kind of trained myself not to use it when I started teaching, as, you know, as strange as that sounds. Let's get that multi-contour sketch. Bring that. And that. There you go. Link. Insert link. Okay, so that's a large boy. That is a big boy. Although, well, let's take it one step at a time here. Like that. And then we need somewhere to mate this, where I guess I can see, how did I define this? Where's the origin? Okay, so that's good because I have these default origins that I have, or default axes that I have in my part template. So if I say make it along the right plane like that, and then I need to suppress the thing that says delete me like that, and then I can actually play around with the length, with the distance between, for example, the top plane of the assembly and the axis of the link. So how tall is that? Let's just guess 8. Hit OK. So it is binding. You see that? So if I, here, let me show you like the Jumbotron view. Do something like that. Our width mate is actually preventing this from advancing forward unless you drag it so far that it snaps to the other solution. In reality, you know, once you assemble this the way it is, so either I need to make the throw of this crank a bit shorter or the stroke of the piston a little bit longer. And I think this thing looks very silly. You know, with its size, it's too big. So I'll bring that all the way down to like 2. And then just to make it look a bit more proportional, bring this down to 0.75. Much better. So now, still not quite enough, but you can see that it doesn't even come close to bottoming out here, which means that the distance that this crank is from the assembly is too much. So I need to change the distance, mate. So if I put that down to maybe like 6 or something. Oh, so it needs to be a bit more than 6. Alright. A number between 6 and 8. 7. Alright, that seems to be working pretty well. You know, it's pretty amazing, like, you know, imagine if I showed Henry Brown back in the day this, of just like me. This is not even using like any special kind of analysis. It's just mathematical constraints within an assembly, right? But it's just like, you know, if I were to build this in real life, I saved like 3 or 4 prototypes right there, and you know, figured it out in like 3 minutes. So we really do live in a wonderful time to, you know, be studying mechanical engineering. Brown makes saying, linkage design is always fun. Oh, totally agree, dude. So good. Alright, so let's see what kind of fancy things I can do. So, question, can I reset this? Oh, I could probably reset it with the delete me thing. Okay, so that, put that back. Oh, did I suppress the width? That was wrong. Bring that back, please. And then suppress that. Oh, that would have been goofy. Alright. So let's leave that there. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a problem with a, you know, a basic animation here. But I do want to do something kind of fun. But let me test this out real quick. Well, not the way I expected it to go, but that's fine. You know, clockwise or counterclockwise, it'll be good. Actually, something I want to do to this. So I'm not certain how the steam is supposed to go in and out, but I'll make little inlets and let the commenters argue about it. I think that'd be kind of funny. Through all both. Alright, so now we can actually access the inside of this, at least through here. Here, let me check the, yeah, there is no obvious way to get fluids in there, so I think it must be through the axis, I would guess. Has trunnions as the middle of its length. What is that? What is a trunnion? Let's learn together. A pin or pivot forming a pair on which something is supported. So the trunnions is this, then. The middle of its length, working in fixed bearings. And the piston rod is connected directly with the cranks. And no guides are used. Yeah, so it doesn't really specify like what the working fluid is or how it gets in there, but, you know, it'll be fun. Alright, but what I want to do... I think if we can get a section to like move in and out as it goes, I think that would be very cool. So I think that's going to be a bit more complicated, but here, you know, I'm here for it. So let's just lock this back into place for the time being, and we will start... Actually, let's New goof. Yeah, we need a goof. Save. This is a dummy part. And, you know, your dummy part doesn't actually have to have actual material in it, but it makes it easier to work with. You could do it with configs, because what you'll see me do here in a second is I'm going to use assembly cut, extruded cut, assembly extruded cut, so that, you know, I would refer to that as an assembly cut to section the model. And I think what would be very cool is to dynamically move it so you can actually see it closed, and then you see this section come in and it'll look cool. Darko7 saying, did you go to school for CAD? Not for CAD specifically, just so I was in mechanical engineering as a greater field. Also did music, but that's a long story. But mechanical engineering, and then I had 1 semester of CAD. But as you could probably imagine, I did a lot of self-study after that 1 semester, which, you know, brought me to where I am today. I think it's a very important tool. Let's do that. And let's grab the top plane and the top plane of this and say, yeah, parallel. And then I suppose I could convert one of these edges here. So let me start the cube out here. Yeah, actually what I can do, start the cube from here. So it should be a tiny, tiny distance. Oh my god, how did I almost nail that within 5/1000ths of an inch? That's crazy. Yeah, we can start it like that. And then I can control this mate. Alright, so we have this doodad. So what I'll do now is actually start a sketch in the assembly. So notice I'm not, you know, putting a sketch into any of these parts. A sketch in the assembly itself. And I'll say that I convert this. And just drag that out a little bit, because we want to make sure that this extends further than the entire, I guess, envelope of the part. Grab the midpoint, put it right there, and we're going to complete like a rectangle, pretty much. And this is going to be a fixed distance from this. So this might look kind of strange, but you'll see it in a moment. So now I have this rectangle. Then I'll go to assembly features, extrude cut through all both, and then for selected components, I want to select practically every component except the dummy cube, because if I try and cut, basically if I try and shave the cube, it'll it might be okay with it, but, you know, it might give a 0 thickness error, so make sure to leave it out of it. Hit OK. So what we should see if this works is this little tube will be cut flush to the cube. So if I do that, and indeed that is what we see. But what I can do now, if I, for example, suppress this distance and then move the cube and then rebuild, you notice the assembly cut updated, and that's because the convert entity. If I move the cube, so does the cut. So now you might see where I'm beginning to go with this. And we'll be able to take a peek inside. But let me turn that back on. We're gonna hide the dummy part because we don't need it anymore. We're going to suppress delete me and then go into the motion study. Whoa, that's cool. Hey, I'm glad you think so. I'm just here to show, little tricks here and there. So let's extend this out to 15 seconds. So what I'm going to do... Oh man, I didn't measure how far I actually have to move that section plane, but we can take a guess. So the dummy part is hiding, but it's still there. It's still in our study. It's just hidden. But now we can use the one mate as like a controller pretty much. So I can say after it makes a complete revolution at 5 seconds, I can place a key. And then from 5 to 6, place another key. And then perhaps from 10 to 11 seconds, we'll have another transition. So I like to place all my keys first, and then what I'll do, let me double click this and make this a distance greater than that. So let me try 1.5 and hit this little stoplight for the rebuild. So I need to go further too. It's looking good, but maybe a little bit further still. And I think that's really good. 2.5 looks like the key number here. So there's a transition, but it's transitioning back, and whereas I actually want it to hold. So I'm going to double click on this and enter 2.5 in that as well. So now we should have two transitions. So let's rerun. So now it should be moving that back, and that gives you the inside view of our mechanism. And then back, putting it back together. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, so something I definitely want to do, let's increase the frame rate. How did you come up with this? I think I don't want to say I came up with it, because I think it's like one of those things that when you really start to understand like how Solidworks parts like rebuild and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of other people have done this, but it's just like I remember seeing a tutorial of how to make a spring animate via stretching a dummy part which has like some kind of sketch relation attached to it. That's really the key. Nothing what I'm doing is really like voodoo, It's what the key is, I have this sketch here which is referencing the edge of a moving part, and that allows the sketch to update, per frame, and with that you can do creative things. I think that's the thing. It's like nothing I'm doing is like really that complicated or hard. It's just like it's just a little bit of creativity to put them together in different ways. And it's also why I'm really glad you're here now, because now that you see it, it exists, it's something that's possible, and maybe you can apply it to your things, and then it looks cool. Something I do want to try, if I grab all of these interpolations, do ease in, ease out. So that'll just kind of move the cube, just like it'll like softly accelerate, get to a maximum speed, and slow down. So that might just make the animation look a little bit prettier. That's certainly not 100% required. Yeah, but I'm really glad you're getting something out of it. It's this is kind of why I started my channel and even started doing the streams too, is because like there's so much stuff like this that I kind of do like second nature to me, that I don't even really think about when I'm telling people about cool SolidWorks stuff. So let's move this bad boy down a little bit. Reset the camera key. There you go. Let's get it to go out. I think that's fine. That's 60 frames per second. Set it as MP4. And now we wait. Yeah, but it's like really cool stuff that you can do to present your data. And you know, the user group meeting that I presented with Daniel Boyer with just earlier this week, you know, we talked about how important it is in order to articulate your ideas and your story. You know, if you want people to be on board with what you do, and you know, being able to tell a good story is very important, but also, you know, having, you know, visuals to back that up. So it's, you know, coming up with clever stuff, you know, clever ways to show off your design, I think can be very, very helpful, especially if you're trying to tell, you know, anyone, potential investor about your idea. You know, the easier you make it for them to understand, you know, the further you'll go with your stuff. Sebastian saying, so there's no like a cross-section view for animation without using a dummy. Yes, and I think the more pertinent thing is not just the dummy part, but the assembly cut. You know, assembly cut that rebuilds, because with the assembly cut, it's actually cutting those parts. And you know, there's like settings for, like, you know, if you wanted to apply to the, you know, trickle down to the individual part level. But you know, if I checked out the mass, like the mass is actually now less. But yeah, the section tool here is like a very like temporary graphics kind of thing, and it's not very useful for stuff like this. So if you want to animate a section view in an assembly, you need like an assembly cut. Brown Mink saying, any word on when the recording will be released? I really wanted to see it, but time conflicts. I'll check for you, dude. Yeah, the user group leader for that is Kirby Downey, and if you recognize him, recognize that name, you know, he's done a lot of work with Solidworks, also a fantastic 3D designer. But yeah, I'm gonna have to check where he's got that posted up. Yeah, I think it was a really good conversation with Danielle. And actually, just before that, an application engineer, Dan Wagner, gave a great presentation about, you know, some tech support cases that he got common questions for. Oh yeah, seeing a few Kirby videos made my SolidWorks dark mode. Yeah, that is a very helpful one, and you know, it can, you know, while this is still churning, you know, what it can do is open another instance of SolidWorks. Journal file cannot be created. We know, that's fine. But yeah, you want to switch to dark mode, gear, colors. It's the background color. You want to set it to dark. And so if you like using this, you know, it's awesome sauce. But other than that, you know, I like to set my icon colors to classic, which makes them green and yellow rather than blue and white. And then I set it to medium light because I am nostalgic for old SolidWorks. Yeah, we're coming to the end there, and I think I could trim this down in a video editor too, so, because they're redundant frames. But you know, at least for simplicity's sake, just go ahead and just export the entire 15 seconds out. I'll probably do that on my own time. Ding means it's done. By the way, you can actually change that ding sound if you want. You can basically put any sound in there. And maybe well, actually I do go over this. You know, my SolidWorks prank video. I show you how to do that. Well, you can do that for animation finish sound. But let's go ahead and see our result here. Open with Windows Media Player. So we start there. Let's see how this looks. And then that looks really cool. And then closes it back up. Looks like we got a little stutter there, but that might be an extra frame. What I really wish it did is add hatching. I think that would just push it way over the edge and be extra awesome, but I've never figured out a convenient way to do that. Well, let me check something. I move this here. Hello? Okay. If I search for hatch, does it even come up? Hatch. Yeah, it does, but it's gray. Yeah, so I guess it only does only apply to, unless, what if I pre-pick a face and then pick? Oh no, so I guess it really just does apply to 2D drawings. That stinks. Alright, so yeah, I haven't really figured out a way to like get a cross-hatch pattern on the faces. But if anyone has an idea of how to do that, you know, I'm not all knowing, so you know, it's possible that someone has figured out a way to do that. And if you know, I would really like to know. But yeah, let's take another look at that, and you know, I think we'll call that yet another successful stream, and another consecutive day for CAD Model of the Day. It's crazy to think that I've never dropped a day since I started. I have a 100% hit rate for getting my animations, or you know, getting my CAD deliverable out by midnight in Eastern Time in the United States. There were a couple of close calls, but looks like we're gonna reach 534 consecutive days, which is good. So yeah, let's bring this one home, shall we? So I'll just, again, you know, if this is your first time being here, I would appreciate you liking this video, because of course YouTube analytics really digs when people like my videos, and I like when you like my videos. And yeah, of course, if you want to stay in the know, subscribe. I think that'd be pretty cool too. If you want to see any of my other social media presences, including but not limited to Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn. I know some people have added me there. That'd be greatly appreciated. And of course, I think my darling little social media thing right now that I really just enjoy, you know, is that Discord. You know, I just really love how people are interacting with each other, talking with each other, and just really making each other's lives better just by sharing these little tips here and there. So if you join the Discord, I'd really appreciate it. I think that'd be pretty cool. So that's where we're at for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next stream, which is Tuesday of next week. Bye-bye.